All right, everyone, welcome back. We have another episode of Down the Line. I'm Bert here with Stanzo, Below the Belt Sports, all that fun stuff. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we're going to get into the Yankees. But I mean, we've started the Yankees, I think, almost every single show that we've done so far. But I mean, there is something happening in Queens right now, the other side, the other New York team, that is just absolutely ridiculous. So we will be starting with the New York Mets today. I mean, Nick, how much of a 180 have we done on the Mets? I mean, we were so high on how they were going to go into this second half, and now it has just done the worst turnaround I think I could have possibly imagined.
I mean, you and I, like you said, we're both Yankee fans. We start almost every show with the Yankees because their season has been either dumpster fire or on fire. So they've usually been mostly the story, even though the Mets were in first place. You and I both like the Mets coming into the year. They got through that injury-riddled May, still in first place. So we're like, all right, like they're going to be fine. This has been the craziest collapse that I've seen, and now it's all coming to a head with this Javy Baez stuff.
Yeah, so it's the Javy Baez that we need to kick off with. Javy Baez / Francisco Lindor, if you're a bit of a conspiracy theorist. Not even conspiracy theorist, if you're a bit of a upper power, the power that be, that type of thing.
You have a brain? Yeah.
If you have a brain. So this is the Javy Baez quote. And this is regards to fans booing him over his give or take month tenure. With injuries here and there, give or take month tenure with the Mets since he's been traded from the Cubs. We're not machines. We're going to struggle. We're going to struggle 7 times out of 10. It just feels bad when I strike out and get booed. It doesn't really get to me, but I want to let them know that when we have success, we're going to do the same thing to let them know how it feels. Because if we win together, then we lose together. I'm going to finish this. The fans are a really big part of it. In my case, they've got to be better. I play for the fans. I love the fans. But if they're going to do that, they just put more pressure on the team. That's not how you win.
Yeah, this was crazy. And then there were 2 things that stuck out. There was another third tweet that wasn't going around as much, but to me, it's the worst part. He said, to let them know when we don't get success, we're going to get booed. So they're going to get booed when we get success. So he's straight up saying, like, it's not like he's like, this is our way of booing the fans back, which I've never heard anything like that. So that's crazy to me. And then also I think it's so funny that he goes, it doesn't really get to me, but like it does. Yeah. It like
doesn't get to me, but you're doing something revolutionary. You're doing something that's never been done in sports. It doesn't get to me. I'm just starting.
It's like the guy that's obsessed with his ex-girlfriend that won't like shut up about her, and he's like, yeah, I don't give a shit what she does. Like, yeah, all you do is talk about her. It's like, yeah, Javy Baez, you get paid how many millions of dollars? You're one of the honestly, he's really been on a downward trajectory. We're one of the premier shortstops in baseball. And you're like, yeah, I don't care that the fans are booing me. It's just that me and my buddy made up this thing that we're gonna do to get the fans back anytime we have a little bit of success, which the Mets are 9-21 in their last 30 games. There hasn't been that much success.
I mean, but like, get the fans back. They're paying your salary. What do you mean? The fans are the only reason. The fans are the ones who are pressuring Francisco Lindor to get paid $34 million a year. They were the ones that were pressuring for the Mets to make a move. That's why they went out and got Javy Baez. Like, how convoluted is that you are against the people so adamantly that are literally paying for you to be booing them back, which is being done when a thumbs down. Like, also, I mean, besides the fact, like, the thumbs down thing has already been taken in New York. And when you hear thumbs down, you think the 2018 Yankees?
17 Yankees.
Oh, okay. 2018 was the next man up. Yeah, so 2017 Yankees, like, that's already been done. Like, it's kind of old news that you're doing that. But regardless of the whatever motion you choose to do, the thought of booing the fans back when you start to have success is just ludicrous.
Mm-hmm. And look, I take the player's side 99% of the times. Like, I love to rip on idiot baseball fans, New York fans especially. They're impatient. I'm pretty anti-booing our own guys. I hate when I hear Stanton get booed. Gary had a quote earlier in the year that I actually liked. Like, I like the honesty where he was like, yeah, I get why I was getting booed. It definitely hurt. I wish they had my back a little bit more when I struggle. And I know the Jeter one was going around where like Derek Jeter which regardless, anyone booing Derek Jeter in 2004 should not have rights. They should have been deported from America a long time ago. But to straight up say, like, yeah, we're booing the fans back. You have no leg to stand on, Javy Baez. You've been here for 1 month, haven't been all that good. You've been hurt, and the team just blew a 4.5 game division lead and turned into a 7 game deficit in 2 weeks. Like, I'm sorry, you can't say anything right now.
The 2 points from that. One, I agree with you that like we're always. I think I lean more player side too. I mean, I think when we were younger, we used to kind of scream at the players a lot from the field. It's just kind of you get caught up in it. Like
Of course.
Like you get caught up and you kind of like you're on the train ride home. And you're like, that was kind of stupid. Like I shouldn't be like screaming like, oh, like you're the worst at like a random center field. Like what the hell?
Certain guys, it's okay. I'm sure I definitely had to have booed J Happ off the mound in 2019 a couple times, and I stand by that.
Yeah, but like it's kind of like it is what it is. More times than not, you're gonna be on the player side. You want to see them succeed.
Yes, of course.
But shit, what was my second point? God damn it. I had such a good second point. You were saying something. What were you saying before?
Just how I think a lot of other guys in New York have handled this a lot better than this. Like, I think that, in the grand scheme of things, like Javy Baez, how many times has he even probably heard boo birds? Like, how many home games has the guy even played? Like, Gary Sanchez has been ripped on for years. Giancarlo Stanton got booed in his first home game as a Yankee after he hit 2 home runs in his Yankee debut, like not even a week prior. Like, people have just been ripped on so much. I just said Derek Jeter got booed after he had won 4 World Series and 6 pennants. Like, not that that's okay. Like, I think it's stupid. And I probably think some of these people booing Javy Baez are pretty stupid right now too, honestly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's only been here a month. I don't think it's his fault that the Mets have completely imploded, but like, how are you going to, in a new city, a new team that you've contributed little to nothing to, that just had an 11-game swing in the division in a matter of 2-3 weeks, you're going to blame the fans for being frustrated? Like, come on, read the fucking room, dude.
I remember my second point now. It was the fact that, remember when it was probably around a month ago, a little bit less at this point, how the Mets were starting to slip. And they were like, hey, like we want to stay positive in this room. Like they wanted to, keep that positive attitude. That's why they went out and got Javy Baez, because they thought that would almost, like, they didn't want to mess with the team's chemistry. Like that's why they were so like, we should hold on who we're getting, and we need to bring the right person into this locker room. I mean, man, were they wrong? You know what I mean? Like now this has made it a million times worse. Like Pete Alonso was like, no, like people were ripping on Pete Alonso for staying positive. People were ripping on Lindor for staying positive when they were both struggling, when the team was struggling too. And I mean, now they did a complete 180. Now it's like, how much more, like, you can get behind players staying positive and like having a positive outlook. It's like, yes, it's frustrating that they're saying like, oh, I'm not mad that we're losing. And it's like, no, we got to stay with it. You can get frustrated at that, but I mean, how much more mad are you going to be? Like, now you're against them. Now it's the fans versus the Mets. Like, if I'm a Mets fan, am I like, do I even want to go to these games anymore if these players don't like care? Like, what are you playing for now? Like, what, as a Met, like, literally, what are you playing for? You're saying I love the fans, I'm playing for the fans. What are you playing for? You're playing for a title. You're playing for, it's clearly now for selfish reasons.
Yeah, and how many times did we hear throughout the course of this season, oh, this Mets team chemistry is great. It's Lindor, Mr. Smile, like the whole Ratter Raccoon thing. Like, Pete Alonso, who I've always said is a cornball, but I think is generally good for baseball in New York. It's like, oh, yeah. Polar Bear Pete. It's like, this clubhouse is so tight knit, blah, 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 blah. Now, all of a sudden, I'm sure it's got to be divided, because you have Pete Alonso, who, like you said, likes to err on the side of, he's a fan favorite. He's arguably, him and DeGrom, face of the franchise. He always
wants to do stuff for the fans, like being mic'd up, or batting practice, like all that stuff. Home run derby.
He's spent his whole career here, and now you have Javy Baez coming in, and he's taking just shots at the fans when he's barely even played a month in the uniform. And to me, Javy Baez is the minor issue, because at this point, I kind of thought the Mets would maybe keep him around. I know him and Lindor are buddies, and maybe, if he didn't get a better contract offer elsewhere, he would stay and play second base. That's off the table now. He's gone, not to mention he's cost himself, I don't know how many millions of dollars in free agency this year, because you can't tell me that doesn't hurt your sales pitch to any other team. Like, hey, I might alienate your fan base after a bad month with them. So that's
the people who pay all of our salaries, I'm probably going to piss them off.
That's besides the point. Francisco Lindor is the one who came up with this. They were talking on the fan today how there's a video of Baez had a hustle double last Thursday, and he was like trying to pump up the crowd, and Lindor was in the dugout trying to get him to do the thumbs down. He's here for 11 more years and over $300 more million. Like, this is the guy you're supposed to build around. This is the guy who a lot of people, myself included, were like, he's the perfect fit for New York personality wise, blah, blah, blah. If he's not even a year in and he's turning on the fans already because he's had a horrible year, then what the fuck are you supposed to do with that? That to me is honestly the story. Yeah. What are the Mets going to do with Francisco Lindor? Because as much of a stinks people put up with Stanton and his contract, Giancarlo Stanton has done nothing but do a great job with the New York media and Yankee fans. His literal only problem is that he hasn't been able to stay on the field as much prior to this season, and he has some ugly strikeouts that really piss off a lot of Boomer fans. But like, realistically, the guy has played mostly well, and he's handled the media with ease. Francisco Lindor has been here. Now, this is a big mark on him, and he has played terribly. And he's here for longer than Stanton, and he's making more money than Stanton. And so if you're telling me there's already been a rift between your franchise shortstop who has 11 more seasons, not even through year one, and your fan base, that is a problem.
I mean, it is a huge issue. I mean, the first question that comes to my mind is just being an absolutely soft superstar. It makes me think, like, who do you think are the softest superstars, like, of all time? Like, if you had to put like a top three, like, I feel like Kevin Durant's gotten better over the years. I think
used to think
like, at one point he was by far the
no, I agree. I think honestly, Kevin Durant now, I would honestly put on the other end of the spectrum because I don't think he gives a fuck. Like, I think there's a lot of shit he just says from his main Twitter now that he probably used to tweet from burners. So I agree. I used to think of him as soft. I've done a full 180 on him.
I didn't think of too many others, but he was the first person I come to mind. But like, this Francisco Lindor situation, I mean, he's been soft all year. He's been sensitive about getting booed, and it's like, dude, you came to New York. Like, yes, you got traded there, but you also signed the extension there. You know, like, knowing what this is, you had to expect that things. I mean, like, you are not Derek Jeter. Nobody is Derek Jeter, and he got booed. He got booed after winning, at that time, 4 World Series. You've done nothing but hit 210, and you're kind of looking for sympathy, and now you're going back at the fans. I mean, this is just the most ridiculous turn of events that, like, I've ever seen. And now you're right, Nick. Now they got to deal with this for 11 more years.
And I think too, the last thing I'll say on this is just like, I think these guys making it just like about themselves when, like, clearly I think it's more about the team. Like, are they frustrated with like the superstars underperforming? Like, yes, of course they are. But like, realistically, like, how do you not understand why the fans are frustrated? Like, you just choked away your division leads. You have a majority of the season, and now you're buried essentially, not even essentially, just out of the playoff race already. Like, these fans are paying good money for the seats. I'm sure they're probably tickets they bought back when the team was actually good. They probably don't even want to be there. So, instead of, so it's either go and boo or sell them for pennies on the dollar. And you're taking it and making it about yourself. Like, it's not like the Mets like had a little losing streak and shrunk their division lead from 8 games to 5 games. Like, then maybe I could see having some fun with it. I still wouldn't agree with booing the fans back, but like, I guess I could see it. But like, in this scenario, like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, of course fans are going to be pissed off at the whole team.
Yeah, I feel like you could get like this mad at the fan base if, like, obviously they were like throwing stuff on the field, screaming obscenities, like doing things that are like generally inappropriate. But I wanted to bring up the Sandy Alderson quote too, for the fact that, like, he essentially said, he literally says, booing is every fan's right. That is your GM. That is technically your boss who is saying, no, they can boo you. And I don't want it to be like, oh, these guys are just like performers, like they should be, they should take this. No, you shouldn't take it. You can be a little sad about it, just like Gary Sanchez was. He was upset. You're human. You can be upset. You don't want to be ridiculed at your job. It's like we always say, like, obviously if people started booing us at our day jobs, like at our in our offices, obviously we would be a little bit upset. But you know what? If I'm doing a bad job, I get an email saying you need to do better, or
Yeah.
or you get a phone call or something like that, or you get a report of something. No one can send you an email, Francisco Lindor or Javy Baez. No one can give you a phone call. We can tweet at you or we can boo you. Like that's like those are the options of, and the booing you're probably more likely to hear. So that's how we tell you that you are not performing. It happens at every job. Sorry.
It's just, look, a lot of crazy shit has happened with the Mets, and I really did think with the Wilpons gone that some of it would probably go away. This year has been just as bad, if not worse. I think Steve Cohen honestly is a little bit of fuel to the fire. Like for a quote unquote diehard Met fan, that guy has no fucking idea where the fans' heads are. Like at least the Wilpons like stayed silent. Like Steve Cohen, you see his tweet, he was like, "I miss the days when the biggest arguments were about the black jerseys." Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Now.
Like he is just beyond clueless, man. So it's a little bit funny. Honestly, I really was hoping. I remember when we had Mr. Walker on, this was a couple months ago now, I guess. I was saying hopefully, the Subway Series games in a couple weeks are meaningful for both teams. They're going to be meaningful for one team, and it's not the one team that I thought it was going to be. Yeah. So it's crazy, dude.
So speaking of that other team, we'll get off this ridiculous topic. I mean, hopefully, honestly, in all reality, this will probably go away. But like in and out. But this has definitely have a lasting effect. I think it definitely changed a lot of fans' perspective on both players.
I think that changes Javy Baez's perception around baseball for a long time. I really do. I think it's one of those things where even though he might have thought it was a minor quote, I don't think he's good enough anymore to rid himself of this new reputation. I really don't.
Yeah, and he's got to blame his friend Francisco Lindor. He really does. He's got to blame him.
Yep.
So moving on to the Yankees, so-so series against the A's. Obviously lost our last two, brings us to 8-2 in our last 10. Nick, what was your kind of takeaways from the Oakland series?
I mean, for me, first of all, Thursday was a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I mean, obviously going up 6-0 was great. Stanton hits an absolute bomb of a home run. Aaron Boone goes off on an umpire, which I feel like you and I have been begging for all year. He's done it a couple times now, but he had to because the two strikeout calls to Judge and Gallo were horrible. So love to see him get tossed and then Stanton immediately hit a home run. Up 6-0 sucks that Tyone could not hold that lead. Like that's really a game where you got to give 5 and at minimum or at max like 3 or 4 runs maybe. So that's like, but thank God that they didn't lose that game, just because if that was how the losing streak was or the winning streak was going to end, that really would have stung. So they win that game. They play great on Friday night. Cole throws 6 strong innings. And then Saturday and Sunday, just kind of more of first half Yankee baseball, just anemic offense. Bullpen doesn't come through. Bad defense last night. Gio makes 2 errors. Gallo makes an error, and with that, it is what it is. Like Gio's coming off the IL. Joey Gallo is rock solid defensively, but no one's going to be perfect in the field. Matt Chapman made an error last night that led to the Yankees' only run. He's
You mean the greatest third baseman in baseball history, Matt Chapman?
I fucking hate listening to them talk about Matt Chapman. I'm like, dude, I was watching the game outside last night, and it was actually a blessing. The main ESPN stream kept buffering, so I just threw on ESPN Deportes, and it was bliss. I really did not miss Vasquez and A-Rod at all. But I mean, listen, going in, I would have signed. Yeah. Going in, I would have signed for a split. Sucks losing the last 2 and losing, pretty much all your momentum. They got to go 5-1 this week at the minimum. Angels and Orioles, they really can't afford to lose even one more Orioles game this year. Anything less than 5-1 this week is a failure. So we'll see. I don't know. Where's your head at?
I feel pretty good, to be honest. I mean, I honestly going into, now we're kind of going into September. Like officially, like we're like going to be in September baseball now. If you would have told me they'd be 6 back of the Rays a month ago, I would have been like, fuck yeah. Like, I don't care how those last 2 games went. I don't even care that the Red Sox are, creeping up slightly. But I mean, I feel pretty good, even though, the bad games are, like you said, like starting to see a little bit of the old Yankees coming out a little bit, like the bad bullpen, low offense. But for the most part, I was very hesitant to say that the Yankees are back, even during this stretch. But I feel a lot more confident. I just think that things are more balanced now. the starting pitching doing better. Tyone had a stinker, and that's totally okay. You need to get those out of the system. I think he'll bounce back totally fine. So I'm not too worried. My head is kind of like, what's going to happen with this Rays Red Sox series? That's kind of where I'm thinking. And like, I am confident that we can, and I know I'll knock on wood here that the Yankees can pretty much take care of the Orioles and the Angels. 5-1. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, I feel like is 4-2. I feel like you do have to win those games, especially the Orioles ones. Maybe you run into a good Ohtani game or something like that, or Alex Cobb decides to show up in an Angels uniform for once. Oh no, Dylan Bundy. But my head is at the Rays Red Sox series because that can be the big swing right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can get games back. I was going back and forth with a lot of people today telling me the division's out of reach. And I said, look, do I think it's likely that the Yankees are going to make up a 6-game deficit in 30 games? No, I don't think it's likely. I just don't think it's impossible. Like, I think everyone has this idea in their head that the Rays will not lose a game ever again. And I'm not saying they're going to have a winning month, but when you really peel back the layers of the August that they've had, they're 19-6, right? Obviously an unbelievable month. They're 10-0 against the Orioles and 9-6 against everybody else. Like, they lost a series to the Minnesota Twins this month at home, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if it was home or away. Regardless, though, like, it's not like they've been playing lights out baseball against everyone else. They just really took care of business against the Orioles. And I had a tweet today. The winners of the AL East historically the past couple of years, like the Red Sox in 2018, the Yankees in 2019, and now potentially the Rays in 2021, they all take care of business against the Orioles. The Yankees already have 5 losses against them. They need to go 6-0 against them the rest of the way out if they want a chance at the division. But everyone was just like, the division's already over. Like, let's just bury Boston. Like, I'm sorry, I can't think about the wild card game yet when there's a chance that you can win the division. There's a chance. You have 3 more with Tampa. Tampa plays 7 against the Red Sox this month, a bunch against the Blue Jays, who you never know what you're going to get out of them. They have a series with the Astros. They play the Tigers, who are not pushovers by any stretch anymore. I'm not ready to give up on the division just yet. We'll talk about the wild card game once the division's out of reach. For right now, though, I'm rooting for the Red Sox this week. I am. It's a 4-game set. If they take 3 and the Yankees have a 5-1 week, you're right back.
Yeah. It really confuses me how the Rays, like you said, like a lot of games against the Orioles, but regardless, they're still like 30 plus games over 500 right now. And it just blows my mind how they're even a good team. Like, I look at their stats up and down, and I'm just like, who is like the guy that is like their driving force? So like Brandon Lowe, 30 home runs, Austin Meadows, 91 RBIs, Rosarina, 274, like Brett Phillips, 13 stolen bases. I feel like everyone on this team is just like right over the border of like being like a good player. And everyone top to bottom is doing that. Like, they're the 3rd best team in baseball. The Giants have MVP talent on their team. The Dodgers obviously have it too. And I just feel like, where is the Rays MVP that like I'm going to be like, they're going to take over this month? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, this is absolutely sustainable. So I don't know. I feel like if the Red Sox still need to compete, they need to keep a playoff spot. If the Rays kind of just falter a little bit, I can see the Yankees kind of coming back and do it, and maybe making a run at the division. So I'm all in on that. Like, 6 games is not done. 6 games is not all right. Let's start scheduling our starters so that we line up well for the wild card. Like, we're not doing that yet.
And listen, like, I want the Red Sox to lose against everybody else this month. Like, of course I want them to like if you're telling me like the division's out of play, the wild card game is either going to be against the Red Sox and you're facing Sale, or you play like the A's or the Mariners. Of course, I'd rather not play Chris Sale and the Red Sox, but like, that's just not even where my head is at yet. So people are like, I don't know, like, if you're telling me the Red Sox sweep and go on this crazy run and overtake us for the wild card spot, then sure, I guess I don't want that. But for right now, in this moment, I want to chase the division, and the Red Sox need to win this series if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way. Like, no part of me wants a wild card game. I don't care that we have Garrett Cole. Like, that doesn't.
I don't care who we face.
That really doesn't mean. It's a huge advantage. That's why you pay for an ace for a situation like this. We also pay for an ace to win the division. You know what I mean? Like, I would love for him to have 3 wins this month. You know what I mean? Like I would, and not have to worry about that one in the wild card game. So let's have a good month. Let's avoid the wild card at any cost. And I think it's possible. I just want to believe the Rays aren't good, but I think I have to get over that.
They're definitely good. It like doesn't make sense. I think it's what you said. They just have so many moving parts, and especially it's like just that lineup where you can go lefty righty and kind of plug and play, really play matchups. And then I guess, they're young pitchers. Shane McClanahan has ended up being a stud. I really thought losing Glasnow would set them back. And to me, I still think it does in a playoff series. The Yankees have played the Rays a lot better, than they did in the beginning. They started off 1-5. I'm pretty sure they're 7-9 now. They got 3 more games left to end the season. So I don't think the Rays are as scary as they were a year ago in a short series, but I think over 162, they just have enough contributors that they are a very good baseball team.
So frustrating.
It's frustrating. Annoying. It's fucking annoying. That's the other thing too. Like, people are like questioning questioning your fandom. Like, how can a Yankee fan ever root for the Red Sox? How can you fucking root for this Rays team? I might hate this Rays team. Like, I hate the Red Sox as a franchise more, but in terms of like players, and manager,
current things going on.
Tough. I hate Cash and Cora pretty equally, but then you look at the Rays, it's like fucking a Rose Arena, Kevin Kiermaier. I hate these guys. Andrew Kittredge, I fucking hate all those guys.
Glasnow's, he's not going to be an issue this year, obviously, but I don't really like him either. I know he's a cool baseball player. He kind of pisses me off a little bit. Is that just
why I don't like him? He's another guy where he's really good, but people act like he's had it all together and he's been putting up these 20-win seasons, or not even to use wins. I'm just saying he's been putting up top 5 Cy Young finish seasons, and he has not. So he's no Chris Sale. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think people just overhype him. That makes me angry. Also, I think it might be the Yankee bias playing just a little bit.
It's absolutely Yankee bias. People do. The Yankees should have creamed Glasnow last year if they didn't throw fucking J Happ against him. And Stanton hit the 2 bombs off him. One was a 3-run homer, but whatever. I don't know. Fuck J Happ.
Fuck J Happ. I think that's the summary. That's what we learn every week. Fuck J Happ. I actually didn't look at his stats this week because I knew he was playing well with the Cardinals. I got away from him. I think I just needed a little mental J Happ break. Every time he comes into my mind, I just got to be like, okay, that's enough J Happ for 2 years.
Yeah, no, I need to stop. Did you just to wrap up, did you see this guy Paul Fry's stat line, the starter for the Orioles?
No. So
he pitched 2 games against the Rays, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. Maybe he's not a starter. He's pitched 5 games against the Rays, right? He has an 0-2 record. 5 games. Guess how many innings he's pitched?
I feel like it's going to be noticeably bad, so I'm going to go with 5 games, 1.2 innings pitch.
You were close. He's an inning and a third in 5 games. 105 pitches to get 4 outs. 105 pitches, 8 hits, 17 runs, 15 earned, 11 walks, 0 strikeouts.
Wait, I'm sorry. How many hits did you say?
8 hits, 17 runs, and 11 walks.
And he's still on the Orioles roster.
As far as I know, yes. But it's it's a hilarious, I'm saving this. This is absolutely going to be a meme I use, but it looks fake. I thought it was all in one game at first, which I was whoa, 105 pitches to get 4 outs, but I don't know if it makes it better or worse that it's spread out across 5 games. It's not you didn't have your stuff one day. It's you are terrible.
That's the total opposite of that. Is it the LeBron meme?
LeBron 99 points in 1 minute. Yeah.
That's literally the opposite of it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous stat line though. One of my favorites I've ever seen.
Paul Fry is his name?
Paul Fry.
That's almost worse. What's worse, that stat line or that name?
Terrible, right? Rhymes with small fry. If your last name's Fry, you can't even get Paul.
Yeah, dude, that's the easiest thing to make fun of.
Rather name him French.
French Fry.
It'd be kind of a badass name.
That'd be a good nickname. If there was a guy that came over from France, the guy Greek freak, a French Fry.
French Fry. Yeah, no, that could be cool.
Not for him, obviously, because he's.
You have to be some semblance of good at whatever it is, which he's clearly fucking not. So.
Do you think he could ever get to the point? I feel like there's 2 or 3 more bad appearances away from being so bad that he becomes good, almost like a Scalabrini type situation.
Dude, if I'm him, I'm just signing with an independent league team. Go play for the Rockland Boulders and just have teams run dollar bottomless Fry night promotions, like on nights that you pitch. Like it become like a cult hero in Rockland County or something. Just get out of the public spotlight. Like I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Get out of Baltimore, come to Rockland.
Literally.
All right. I think we've covered more than enough baseball.
Yeah, now I'm just upset.
Once you start talking Paul Fry, I think it's time to end the episode.
Between the Orioles and J-Hap, and Javy Baez, this was an aggravating episode, honestly. The Yankees are playing well, and I'm arguably the most aggravated I've been in like 2 months.
This is our most angry episode in a couple weeks, for sure.
Yeah, title of this episode, what the fuck, everyone?
Everyone but the Yankees, you've made us mad.
Literally. It's a nice change, I guess.
Yeah. It's fun to be mad at someone else. We're always going to be mad. We're sports fans.
Yeah, you gotta release the demons somehow.
We'll just boo him.
Yeah, I'm gonna boo the shit out of Paul Fry when he comes to Rockland.
And then he'll give us a nice little thumbs down.
Yeah, he's in on it.
He's in on it.
Baez?
All right, that's enough. All right, we will see you guys next week.
All right.
Go Yankees.
Peace.